Okay, let's talk about calculus. Yeah, I know, for a lot of us, that word alone can be a little intimidating. But what if I told you it's not some scary, abstract thing? It's literally the language our world uses to describe motion and change. Seriously, from launching rockets to predicting the economy, it's the engine running in the background of modern life. So in this explainer, we're going to decode that language together.
I mean, just think about it for a second. A car speeding up, a planet zipping around the sun, the stock market going up and down. Absolutely nothing just stands still. So the big question is, how do we speak the language of a world that's always in flux? How can we possibly measure and predict all this constant movement?
Well, the answer is calculus. That's it. It's the language we came up with to finally get a handle on change. And it's all built on two huge and kind of beautifully opposite ideas: zooming in on a single instant and zooming out to see the whole journey. Let's break those down. First up, we've got differentiation. Think of this as our mathematical microscope. We are zooming all the way in, trying to see what change looks like in one single fleeting moment.
So, what's the real problem we're trying to solve here? Well, for a straight line, finding the slope, or the gradient, as mathematicians like to call it, is super easy, right? It's always the same. But look at a curve. Its steepness is changing at every single point. So how in the world can you measure the slope at just one of those infinite moments?
That is exactly what differentiation lets us do. Picture this. Imagine you could lay a teeny tiny, perfectly straight ruler right up against the curve at one specific spot. That ruler creates what's called a tangent line. Differentiation is just the mathematical process that finds the slope of that ruler. It gives us a number, a precise value, for the steepness at that one single point in time.
So here's the key takeaway. Differentiation isn't about your average speed over a whole hour. It's about the exact speed your speedometer is showing you right now. It's not about the general shape of a hill. It's about how steep it is at the precise spot you're standing on.
Okay, so how is this actually done? Thankfully, we don't have to guess every single time. Mathematicians created shortcuts, and the most fundamental one is called the power rule. I know, it looks technical, but think of it as a simple two-step recipe. That's all it is. First, you bring the exponent down to the front to multiply. Second, you just subtract 1 from the original exponent. That's it.
All right, let's try it out right now. If our function is x squared, what happens when we use that little recipe? So the power is 2, we bring that 2 down to the front, and then we reduce the power from 2 down to 1. So, what do we end up with?
You get 2x, and this is where the magic really happens. We now have a brand new function, 2x, that works like a gradient finder for our original curve. You want to know the slope of x squared when x is, say, 3? Just plug it in. 2 times 3 is 6. The slope at that exact point is 6. How cool is that? It's really powerful stuff.
And this isn't just some abstract math game. This is the actual physics of motion. If you have an equation that describes where an object is over time, differentiating it gives you its velocity. And if you differentiate that velocity function, bam, you get its acceleration. It's like a direct chain of command for describing how things move.
Okay, so we've zoomed way in with differentiation. Now, it's time to zoom out. And that brings us to the second pillar of calculus, integration. This is all about adding up all that change and finally seeing the big picture.
You know, the simplest way to think about integration, it's the exact opposite of differentiation. It literally undoes everything differentiation just did. So if differentiation breaks things down into tiny moments, integration is what adds all those moments back up to give you the whole story.
So what can we actually do with this? Well, integration is all about finding total amounts. It's probably most famous for finding the area under a curve. And let's go back to our car analogy. If you have a graph showing its velocity over time, integration can find the area under that graph, which just so happens to be the total distance the car traveled. Pretty neat, huh?
Now, when we go in reverse, there's this one little quirk we have to deal with. I like to call it the ghost in the machine, the constant of integration, or plus c. Just think about it for a sec. The derivative of x squared is 2x. But what's the derivative of x squared plus 5? It's also 2x, because the derivative of any constant is just 0. It vanishes. So when we integrate, we have to add that plus c to admit that there might have been some constant there that we just don't know about. And hey, just like differentiation, integration has its own power rule that perfectly reverses the recipe. Instead of subtracting 1 from the exponent, you add 1. And then, instead of multiplying by the old exponent, you divide by the new one. And of course, we always tack on our little ghost plus c at the end. So let's bring it full circle. If we integrate the answer we got earlier, 2x, using this new rule, what do we get? We get x squared, plus our constant, of course. We started with x squared, differentiated it to get 2x, and then we integrated to get right back where we started. That is that inverse relationship in action.
And honestly, this connection is everything. It's so important, it's called the fundamental theorem of calculus. And what it reveals is that these two processes that seem totally different, finding a slope and finding an area, are actually just two sides of the exact same coin.
Let's just put it all together. Differentiation is like glancing at your speedometer. It tells you your speed right this second. Integration is like looking at your trip odometer. It adds up all those little moments to tell you the total distance you've gone. One pinpoints an instant, the other sums up the whole journey. They are perfect opposites.
So, why does all this matter? I mean, beyond the cool math, what's the real-world payoff for getting a handle on this powerful duo?
Well, in physics, it creates this perfect, complete cycle. You can start with an object's position, differentiate to find its velocity, and then differentiate again to find its acceleration. But here's the magic. You can reverse the whole thing. Integrate acceleration to get velocity, and integrate velocity to get right back to where you started, the position. This is the fundamental language we use to describe motion in the entire universe.
At the end of the day, calculus just gives us this amazing framework for modeling and understanding the dynamics of pretty much everything that changes. We're talking planetary orbits, how fluids flow, economics, population growth. Its principles are absolutely everywhere. It's the tool that turns the fuzzy idea of change into something precise, something we can actually predict.
So, the next time you see something moving, remember the two big ideas we talked about today, the zoom in of differentiation and the zoom out of integration. Change is really the one true constant in our universe. And now that you know a little bit of its language, what change would you want to calculate next?